Good morning. Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 545, and we're here live in Southwest Florida watching the sunrise over the buildings and the trees in the east. And this is the beautiful Gulf of Mexico and a bunch of curious George birds right behind me. If you're joining me live, please say hello. If you end up watching the recorded version, please questions or comments. I get notifications on all of the recorded version comments throughout the day as well. Wait a few minutes before beginning until people start popping over from pre-chat and from their notifications. Hi Joe, good morning. Yes, the wind is strong and it's mild compared to where it's going today. We've got storms on the way. Hi Melanie and Pamela, thanks for joining live. Pamela asked how I'm feeling. I'm getting better every day. I'm still not 100%, but just trying to be patient with the process. Hi G and Melissa, thanks for joining live everybody. I just had a sneezing attack before we went live, so I'm not sick. I've just been sneezing. Hi Margaret and Renee, thanks for joining live. Hi Anna. Yes, Pamela, it does take time. The hardest part is trying to stay, trying to follow the advice. Even when you start feeling better, it's so tempting to go back to full strength, and trying really hard to be patient and be patient with myself because my energy isn't 100% yet either. Well, hi Renee, I'm glad you can stop by for any amount of time. Someone mentioned my earrings. These are the Alisha earrings, one of the newest releases from 52 Crochet Gifts, and they are really a wonderful, wonderful pattern and a wonderful pair of earrings. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, it's an easy pattern to make, a quick pattern to make, and you can modify them in so many different ways, whether you choose 3 colors, choose 2 colors, or do them in one single color. You could add beads to the bottoms of these little picots where at the center of the chains. But what makes these such a great earring, like the usability of it, is that you get that look of a tassel and a fringe without the compromise of having to cut yarn so that they fray and change their look over time. How they look when you make them is how they will stay because they are not cut yarn. There's no compromise to the yarn here. It's going to stay just like this because they are chains, not cut yarn. So I really, really, really love this technique for making a tassel. Use them no matter how much you dance in them or move around in them or they're going to keep this shape for the lifetime of the earring, and I love that. You could make them for every outfit in your wardrobe. You could make them for any gift recipient depending on what kind of colors they like. You could make them in team colors for somebody. You could make them, any sort of theme of color. And you could do contrasting beads, or you could do complementary beads compared to the colors of yarn you use. So there's so many, many different ways that you could modify these, even though it is a super simple design. I am working on the tutorial video behind the scenes right now, so you should see that video hopefully tomorrow. Does anybody have any questions about them? Thanks, Melissa. Melissa just put in a link to the book, 52 Crochet Gifts. And so as we're counting down now to the end of the book being released, it is still on sale for a limited time. If you pre-order the ebook for 52 Crochet Gifts, you get $5 off the ebook price. And when the paperback comes out, everybody who pre-ordered will also get a $7 coupon off the paperback of the book. So in this short, limited time, you still have the opportunity to get $12 in savings if you pre-order. If not, that's totally fine too. But in the next few weeks, the entire book will be released, and then they will both go back to full price. So there is a little short period of time here to still get the sale price. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, and I think I said the video for these earrings will come out tomorrow. One of the other patterns that's been released recently is the Josephine market bag, and I did release this pattern possibly yesterday or the day before. Was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember now. Maybe it was yesterday morning. Yeah, I think it was yesterday morning. And oh, I didn't mention these are in Be So Fine yarn, which you could also absolutely substitute with Be So Fine bling yarn, and that would be amazing, whether you combine colors or did it just singular in one color, or you could mix and match Be So Fine bling and Be So Fine within the tassels as well. Hi Grace, good morning. You could also do more or less tassels. Once you read the pattern and understand the shaping of the different tassels to give that look, you could absolutely add more or less. If you wanted to make tassels for a keychain and do more tassels than this, because you can do a couple more maybe to make a longer earring, but any more than that and it becomes something else. But you could do it for a tassel or a charm on a bag, or you could do a tassel or a charm for your keys as well. And because of how much use that gets, a tassel that doesn't have cut yarn will last a lot longer too. Excuse me, I just finished having a sneezing attack before we went live. Okay, so the next up is the Josephine market bag I wanted to talk to you about. This one has the pattern. It's also part of the 52 crochet book, so you can get the single pattern, or it comes with the book. And there's a tutorial video for it now. And in the video, I show you how to make an oval bottom. And if you have watched the video already, I hope that I was able to clearly explain to you how when you're making an oval, you're actually doing the type of shaping that you already know how to do if you've ever done a circular motif. You know, when you're doing the crown of a hat or a circular motif for a shawl or for an afghan, when you're doing a circular motif, you work a certain amount of stitches in the ring. Then on the second round, you work 2 stitches in each stitch around. Then on the third round, you do 2 stitches in the first stitch, 1 stitch in the next, and you repeat that sequence around, and so on and so forth. So 2 stitches and then 1 each in 2, 2 stitches in the first, then 1 each in 3, 2 stitches in the first, 1 each in 4, as you grow those rounds. Well, when you're doing an oval, you're doing that same rate of increase in half circles with an even section in the middle. So we did the same rate of increase on these 2 ends as we would have done if these 2 half circles were combined like this. If they were really just combined like that, it would have been a true circle. But instead, we added some chains in the middle and worked even, did our circle increases over 8 stitches, worked even, and then did our circle increases over 8 stitches. Isn't that great? Does that visual help you understand how to make an oval? I'll wait a minute and see if there are any questions, because it really is an amazing technique. It's something that you can apply to any stitch pattern. If you know how to make any stitch pattern in a circle already, you can cut it apart and add a chain in the middle to create an oval. Melissa says it helps. Lisa says it helps. Jenny can't hear me because of the wind. Yes, that is the downside of nature, right? We like to come to the beach, and some days the weather participates and some days it doesn't, and this is just one of those days. See, I could try turning the camera this way. Let me know if the camera in this direction makes the wind sound better. Unfortunately, I have to look into the sun, but does the wind sound better behind the camera than in front? Yep, okay. Yep, well, so selfish me. I was thinking about the sun in my eyes, not about the sound of the wind. Well, hopefully that helps. Melanie loves my sunglasses. Thank you. I love my sunglasses too. I love gold mirrored sunglasses. Always my go-to coloring. Shape varies at times. I like to go to surf shops, and I don't really spend a whole lot of money on sunglasses. I have once or twice over the years, and I damage them just as easily as I damage the cheap ones. So I feel like I'm not responsible enough for nice glasses. Isn't that crazy? I treat myself like a child sometimes. Hey, do what you gotta do. Okay, does anybody want to talk more about an oval? Because I'm more than happy to explain a little bit more about this. Thanks, Melissa, about the different ways you can apply this. Also, we've talked in the past about how to figure out the end shape that you want in a rectangle by how long you make the starting chain. We can do that also in oval if anybody would like me to explain that. No, wait a second, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a yes, because it's a pretty cool way. It's much easier than you think it's going to be. It seems like something that you would have to make super complicated, but you don't. So the rule of thumb is the same for oval as it is for rectangle. So whether this was a rectangle or an oval, the way you figure out how big, how long to make your starting chain, or how, whichever way you want to look at it. If you want the oval to be exactly the size, however wide it is, you want to add the difference between the width and the length. Whatever that difference is how long your starting chain needs to be. That's it. That's it. So it's the length of that starting chain that determines the difference between your height and your width. Isn't that simple? So let's say our starting chain is 7 inches and our final height is 3 inches. Then this will always be 10 inches. And I know that that's not the exact dimensions, but I'm just eyeballing it right now while it's draped on my chest and I'm looking backwards through a camera. Just giving you nice round even numbers. But if you wanted something that was 10 inches wide and 3 inches tall, you would do a starting chain of 7 inches. And if you looked at it the other way, if you did a starting chain of 7 inches and you did a height of 3 inches, it'll always be 10 inches wide. Does that make sense? Does anybody want me to explain that further? And that would carry out. Like, let's say you wanted to, let's say forget the bag. Let's say you have this pattern and you love this double crochet oval. You're like, well, I want to make a rug, right? Okay, let's say you want to make a rug in double crochet in this oval technique. So you're going to continue on in your established increases for the 2 side half circles, and you're going to work even in the center. Let's say someone give me a dimension of a rug that you would like to have. Well, what size rug would you want in an oval that's double crochet? Throw out a size of a rug and I'll do the math in my head, or try to anyway. May have to rely on someone's calculator, but let's see what I can do in my head first. Someone give me a dimension for a rug. 4 by 6, Grace says. Okay, so 4 feet by 6 feet, an oval that's 4 feet tall by 6 feet wide, okay? So how long would we make our starting chain? If it's going to be 4 feet tall and 6 feet wide, we're gonna make an oval that's 4 feet tall and 6 feet wide. How we determine our starting chain is super duper simple. We're gonna subtract the big number, we're gonna subtract the small number from the big number. It's 6 feet wide by 4 feet tall. 6 divided by 4 is 2. You're gonna make your starting chain 2 feet long, and then you can follow the instructions for the Josephine bag pattern through the oval base, and boom, you've got another pattern. And once you do that, you could pick any edging that I've ever designed or taught you, or any edging you find from anywhere else, and you could apply that to the edge. Oh, what if we did something like, we've done fringe like this, not tassel form like this, but let's say on the Minka cowl, what if you did an oval like this for a rug and then put on the picot chain fringe around the edge, or like we did a chain fringe on the cherie throw too. So the cherie throw has a beautiful fringe on it. Imagine doing that fringe on an oval to make a beautiful rug for your house. And look it's just combining aspects of different patterns and pulling them together and creating a different pattern. How fun would that be? And you could do it if you wanted to make it a quick rug that's a little bit thicker. You could double the yarn like we did on the Cherie throw. For the Cherie throw, that big red beautiful starburst throw that I did for one of the home deck patterns in 52 crochet gifts, we took 2 strands of Biso baby yarn, which is a number 3 DK weight yarn, and we held them together and used an 8mm hook. In fact, if you wanted a really cushy rug, you could hold 3 strands of Biso baby yarn together and do maybe an 8mm or a 10mm crochet hook. Sorry, I was just sneezing before we started. Yeah, so if you did 2 or 3 strands together, you would make a super soft rug. And whether you did it in a circle, a rectangle, or now an oval like we've discussed, and you could add chain fringe on the end. I don't recommend doing cut fringe that often, especially not in something that you want to last a long time, because once you cut yarn, you do compromise the yarn, and it just doesn't have the lifespan of something that you don't cut, right? And that's why we work so hard to weave in our loose ends after we make something, because once you've cut that yarn and the yarn unravels, it doesn't look the same. So unless you like that look of yarn fraying and you're okay with it shedding, perhaps, you never know how much use you're going to get, how much wear it gets. I just feel like you have a longer lifespan of your projects when you don't have cut yarn. So not that there's anything wrong with cut fringe. Sometimes I love it for that frayed look, but there are other times when I feel like you get more life out of your projects when you don't have cut yarn in them. Ashley says you use less yarn when you knit. That is true. If you're trying to compare very similar projects, knitting does take a little less yarn than crochet. I think I've heard before it could be like 30% difference in yardage. There's pluses and minuses to it. Crochet is faster, but takes more yarn. Knitting is slower, but uses less yarn. They're both beautiful. They both make beautiful projects. They're both fun to do, and sometimes there's things that look better in knitting, and sometimes there's things that look better in crochet. I think if you have an interest in learning one or both crafts, I think it's wonderful. I thoroughly enjoy knitting and crochet. So if you're interested in learning, I say absolutely go for it. And somebody said hello, and I was in the middle of talking. So, or Melinda, good morning. Hi, thanks for joining. Yes, Ashley, the learning curve of fixing mistakes is more difficult in knitting than it is crochet, but not to say that it's not doable and teachable and learnable and super fun. So like I said, if you have an interest in it, I would absolutely encourage you to learn more about it. Bye, Renee. Tunisian crochet would use more yarn than regular crochet if you're using the stitching knife. Once you go into looser gauge lace work, then it's probably more comparable to regular crochet lace work. But if you're doing something that is more dense than the thing that you're comparing it to, so that's why knitting and crochet, that's why crochet takes more than knitting, because crochet is more dense than knitting, right? So if it's more dense, it's got more weight to it. More weight is more yardage. With Tunisian crochet, for somebody who just asked, it depends. If you're doing something that is dense Tunisian, then absolutely it is going to be heavier and more yardage than regular crochet. You always just want to, if once you feel the fabrics, it's pretty obvious what feels more dense than something else. And the item that is more dense is going to take more yarn than the item that is looser. That would be, so, and someone said, what is Tunisian? Tunisian is a type of crochet. Just like with knitting and crochet, there's all different subcategories. There's lace work, there's texture, there's, all sorts of cables. Then within that, then Another subcategory of crochet would be things like hairpin lace and broomstick lace and Tunisian crochet. And Tunisian is a type of crochet that is kind of a hybrid between knitting and crochet, but it creates more dense stitches than crochet, and generally speaking, and can take more yarn. But having said that, I've done projects in Tunisian crochet that were lacy and with Tunisian double crochet and very loose and lacy, and they did not take up a lot of yarn at all. But that's because that's the way it goes. I just saw a question scroll by way too fast about tutorials. If you want to share it again. Wheat sheaf blanket. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like it's possibly something with texture, and anything with texture takes more yarn too. So cables, baubles, things like that. Anything that has texture takes more yarn than something that is smooth. Obviously, right? Think about it in terms of land. If you're looking at a flat piece of land versus mountains, which one has more dirt, right? The mountains have more dirt than the flat land. So something with texture, it would be more as well. Well, Ashley, I'm not familiar with the pattern that you're working on, sorry, but yeah, depending on how many yards are in the balls of yarn you're using too. If your balls of yarn don't have a lot of yards in them, you're going to use more balls than a ball of yarn that has a lot of yards in it. For example, my Be So Fine yarn, #1 fingering weight bamboo yarn, comes 650 yards per ball. You know, sometimes yarn companies sell that weight of yarn in 110 or 150 yard balls. Well, you would need a whole lot of those balls. You end up using the same yardage, but depending on how many yards come per ball in your project, it may make you think that uses a lot of balls, where at the end of the day it's the yardage, and depending on which company you purchase from, their yardage may fluctuate from other companies. Hi Pamela, hi Susan, thanks for joining live. Does anybody have any other questions? It's been great questions. Yeah, 175 yards for the ball, and if you're making a blanket, that is not enough yarn, so you would definitely are going to need you know, a lot of balls of 175 to create a blanket. When I finish this video, am I going to do a tutorial for something? I'm not sure what you're asking about. Hi Sherry. Hi Chris. Yes, these earrings are a new pattern. I talked a lot about them in the beginning of the video. It is the Alisha crochet earrings. They are a new pattern that's been released for 52 crochet gifts, and they are also available as a PDF download, and the tutorial video for these earrings will be out tomorrow most likely. That's one of the things I'm working on behind the scenes right now. Joe's going to make these earrings this weekend. Wonderful. What color are you using? What colors are you going to use? Are you going to combine colors, or are you going to use one color? Here comes the wind. I hung on to my tripod. I wasn't sure it was going to blow or not. Thanks, Lisa. I love the earrings. I did these in 3 colors. The pair that I'm doing for the tutorial, I'm doing 3 different purple colors. These are done in 3 pinky colors. I've got tropical hot coral, crushed berries, and pink dragon fruit in Be So Fine yarn. And I think they would also be amazing in Be So Fine bling yarn. Thanks, Ashley. They're super easy to make, super quick to make. You can make them for gifts. You can make them for a whole bridal party. You can match them. Yes, I ship all over the world, Ashley. You could make them for team colors. You could make them thematic for all sorts of different things. Thanks, Tiffany. I'm glad you like them. Hi, Robert. Thank you. Yes, I am feeling better. Thank you. Almost ready for doctor's orders to go back to physical activity. I'm very excited to get my weight restrictions and exertion restrictions lifted. I've got another, I think, week to 10 days before I can go back to the gym and go back to lifting things. I'm very anxious to get back to my regular life. But thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Yeah, I would like 10 pairs of these earrings, I think. I'd like them in a couple of colors of Be So Bling yarn, maybe a solid tier of all of them. I'd like them in all black. I think all neutral colors, so like black and the new Cafe au Lait and Sandcastle would be really beautiful. I like them in the 3 bright pinks. I would like them in the 3 purples that I chose. I did Lavender's First Romance, Lilac Memories, and Passionate Plum. I'm happy with the way those are turning out. What else do I want? I'd like some more solid colors, so maybe something in Stormy Sea to wear just like a denim color, because you know how much I love to wear jeans. Speaking of which, I still haven't worn jeans since surgery. I'm still only wearing leggings, so excited to get back to wearing real clothes again too. Yeah, earrings like this are like candy, Pamela, absolutely. I could use these in different colors to wear every single day. Yeah, the pinks are cute, Ashley. The purples are too. Doing some blue greens would be great. Some turquoise. What about in just Caribbean turquoise? Wouldn't that be amazing? I just think and then how about doing some mixing and matching like sea glass colors? We could do Chantilly lace and Caribbean turquoise and maybe Harbor Fog. Oh, just the combinations are endless of what you could do. So many different ways you could mix and match them. Or doing some of the, or what about doing them in pure gold and adding some beads? Doing them in ice silver box and adding beads? Yeah, bling would be amazing, Lisa. So if you have a little left over from a project, you could, it doesn't take much to make the earrings. And also, if you bought a ball of Be So Bling yarn, Be So Fine Bling yarn, you could make tons of earrings out of one ball of yarn. You could make earrings and a scarf, earrings and something else too, so you could make things to match. Yes, thanks for Melissa for pointing that out. Every time will there be a tutorial for an oval double crochet rug? Oh, I don't have one right now. I've only just mentioned it today, Pamela, but if you follow the video or the tutorial for the Josephine bag, the information you need is right there. You could definitely get started on that now if you wanted to. But no, I won't be releasing anything like that in the near future, no. I mean, it could eventually, but it won't be in the near future. I've got way too many other things that need to come out first. But I do feel like you could try to experiment with it based on the Josephine Market Bag tutorial. And if you already have 52 Crochet Gifts ebook pre-order, you have not only the tutorial for the oval from this bag, but you also have a variety of different types of chain fringe. Excuse me. Excuse me. And different lace edgings from some of the other doilies and patterns in the book. Yes, and I do have that stitch tutorial PDF on double crochet if you wanted to learn different shapes that way. Thanks everybody. I've got something, it keeps making me sneeze this morning. I've been sneezing all morning. Hopefully it's just something in the air. Thanks for the blessings, everybody. I appreciate it. I posted a link to the single pattern section too, so if you don't want to buy the entire book, 52 Crochet Gifts, you can buy all of the single patterns, and that's the case with lots of my other books as well. I list the single patterns individually in case you want just one, not the whole book, and there's other patterns not from books that are all there too, so there's tons and tons of ways to order whichever way makes you happy. Yes, Ashley, it is warm here actually. It's mid-70s, I think, and very windy though, and we're getting storms later today, so we'll take whatever we can get. All right, I only brought one Create, Share, Inspire journal with me today, so I will randomly pick a quote in here. talk about the video that I posted yesterday about awareness of domestic violence and the Buy One, Give One initiative with my Project Kristin Cares charity. But we could talk about that another day, I suppose. I'm getting distracted as I'm trying to randomly choose. Do you see all these birds over here? Look at all these guys. I don't know if you could see them from the angle of the camera. I don't know why I'm getting so distracted. Okay. Got one. All right, this is from Buddha, Gautama Buddha. Oh, there go the birds. You yourself, as much as anybody in the universe, deserve your love and attention. Yes, I think we do. The birds love the podcast too. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the support. I don't care if I look crazy when I talk to animals. I absolutely love to talk to animals. I'm never going to change, so that's fine. Okay, let's read this one more time. You yourself, you, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and attention. This one, especially for those of us who are, working on healing, working on self-improvement, this is something that we often forget to do, right? We're so busy working on others and helping others that we forget that we count too. And whoever out there needed to hear this today, I feel very strongly that there's at least one person that needed to hear this today. And I hope that when you hear these words, you feel a lightness come over your chest and your heart. And you're like, oh yeah, you're right. I don't think enough about myself. And I want you to have this one small, gentle reminder to go do something kind for yourself today. Even if it means just sitting in a corner with a good book or with your crafts, or if it's standing in front of the mirror and affirming something sweet to yourself, or going to your favorite store to just window shop, or going to your favorite website for inspiration, or going for a walk, petting your pets, going for a walk and looking at nature, breathing in nature, just something that brings you and only you joy, not about somebody else. Spend 5 minutes doing something to just be kind to yourself. So thank you, Gautama Buddha. You yourself, as much as anybody in the universe, deserve your love and attention. Like we talk about all the time, sometimes it's overwhelming to think about just, okay, I'm going to change this right now and do it 100%. No, that's not how major change happens. Major change happens in incremental baby steps. So if you have forgot to give yourself love and affection, no problem. Don't worry about what you've done in the past. You have right now. And if it's the next minute, the next 5 minutes, something you can do today, just remember that you're important too, and to give yourself a little bit of love and attention. So there's my gentle reminder for today. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes with me. I hope you enjoyed the sunrise, the beautiful scenery, the sound of the waves, our friendly little birds chatting with me and everyone else. Hope the wind wasn't too distracting. What are you going to do? Mother Nature does what Mother Nature wants to do, and we just go along for the ride. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye.